Birds and birdies, and welcome to a very special video. This video was actually brought to you by you guys. Yeah, you, the viewer, watching this video. Oh, by the way, if you're here just for the pack, you can skip to the number on screen if you want to just see what the pack looks like. But anyway, I got a little bit of stuff to say. First of all, when I started this channel a long time ago, I never even thought I'd get here. I originally thought that it would be, ooh, this is a super easy thing that I could just do. And I had a terrible PC setup and just terrible video quality. But now I have a lot better things and a lot better ideas and a lot better just everything. And I feel like that I've been able to grow my content into something that's watchable for more audiences. Now, of course, in the grand scheme of things, 250 is not a whole lot. But to a small creator, you have to look at it in my eyes. That's 250 people out of all the world that chose to subscribe to your channel. And yes, maybe some of them are bots, that just subscribe to channels, but I still think that it's a great achievement and something that should be looked on. I mean, it's like 250 is halfway to 500. 500 is halfway to 1,000. And 1,000 is halfway to 2,000, and then so on and so forth. So I honestly could not thank you guys enough for the continual support on my channel and continuing to stay subscribed even after I've been gone for 2 or 3 times now. But with all that being said, without further ado, here is the Minecraft Resource Pack IOU. So here it is, my greatest creation here. This pack was made in 2 reasons. Number 1, to try and be compatible with almost every game mode out there, meaning that you will be able to play this pack in survival, in Bed Wars, Sky Wars, whatever is going on at the time. So this means that I tried to make sure that everything was textured, but at the same time only textured things that are necessary, and try to make it to where things, when you saw them, you would know what they are. So first, let's start with the woods and the wood set here. So all the wood is using a scaled down texture for 16 by 16. So I wanted to make sure I still use the original Minecraft 16 by 16 to, or maybe is it 32? I don't remember what the original Minecraft texture is. But I wanted to use the original Minecraft texture because it would make that so where the people that use it their game would actually run better. So here are all the different wood types. Some of them look very similar. Like this is mangrove, and then this is crimson. So they do look a little similar, but I mean, I think in the normal game, normal planks, they look very similar. But everything else I think is kind of self-explanatory. This is dark oak, this is warped, this is acacia, this is jungle, this is birch, this is spruce, this is cherry. So, and of course this pack is a little old because I did make it a while ago. I made it in planning for this, so this is like a 1.20 pack, maybe 1.19. So it may not have all of the things, but we can look over here as well. Here's some of the grass texture. A lot of these textures are actually ripped straight out from AngryBirds itself. So you could probably load up AngryBirds and see that there's grass that looks very similar to these textures. I also think that this grass is kind of nice because it uses a lot of the same colors as the ground. So when looking, it's kind of harder to see it. But this tall grass, you can see it a lot more. So let's go back over here and look at this. So the leather set is actually unchanged. And this was mainly just because that I don't have the means to really change the leather set how I need to. And maybe at the time I didn't know how. Because I know there was some kind of other file that I had to use to do this because this can be dyed. And I wanted to make sure that the leather looked okay, so I just used the original Minecraft texture. But the wood, I tried to kind of base off of this wood, but also I wanted to use kind of a design. Because the whole point of this pack was to make it designed to Angry Birds, but also to where you could still understand what everything was. I wanted it to be visible. So if you saw somebody holding this sword, you would know that it's a wood sword. Look at that special stuff in the back. We'll get there later. So there's that. And then same thing with the chain. I think there was some other kind of file, or I just didn't know what to do with the chain. But the stone sword uses the same kind of stripy-like texture as the wood sword to try and make it pop out as much as possible. But gold is when you start getting into the fun stuff. So gold here, it's fire, be quiet. The gold here uses the chuck texture, or yellow bird. And when wearing the full set, you can see it still looks yellow, like gold. I'm gonna extinguish this fire, it's really making me mad. It's yellow, just like gold, but it still has the chuck face on it, so you could tell that it's something to do with Angry Birds. But the next one I thought was pretty interesting, and was went along with one of the other reasons. I could have made the iron armor thought about to be Whitebird, which is why the iron block here has Whitebird on it. But I didn't do that. Why? Well, I mean, there's no red armor in the game. And I could have used leather, but then the leather could have been dyed. And chain doesn't make sense either because it's also not red. So what did I do to fix this? I added a red outline to all of the armor here. Oh, I turned it. So you can see here, the armor is still red, but also still white at the same time, and includes the red bird face on it. So I think that this allows people to see that it's still iron armor, but theme it around red bird at the same time. And the weapon looks pretty cool. Now we have the diamond armor. Diamond armor here uses this kind of very sleek blue, so it's very bright, but also includes everything that you would want from a diamond armor piece, but also that looks like a bluebird. And then finally, we get to some of the special items. So the first special item I have here is this snowball. So this is the snowball, and this is an item that does look not like how it's supposed to, but I think in game, I think it's fine. And I use the snowball because you can kind of throw 3 of them like that, and it looks like the bluebirds. Look at that. Then the slingshot and arrow texture here was used from another like 1.14 Angry Birds pack, and basically all it does is you just get a little arrow here and you can shoot it, and the same thing with the crossbow. You have a little Angry Bird in your thing. So that's pretty cool. And this is also the spectral arrow here. Even though it's a spectral arrow, if you load it up into the slingshot, it's not going to be Yellowbird. But, I mean, there'll be Yellowbird on the ground. So all that's pretty cool. And all of these are the poison arrows and stuff. And they have the colorations and everything. And I think they should work with the new colors. I can't tell if these are the new colors right now or not. But they should work with the new colors, but they may not. But I do know that if you take like this night vision arrow, for example, and of course you load it in the slingshot and it goes on the ground, it's just gray. And I'm not sure why it did that, but it was just, that's how it turned out. Next thing is we have a Totem of Undying. I kind of, at the time, I really thought it would be cool if you could just have like a little pig structure in your hand. And I think it does still look pretty cool. I don't think it's as good, but I think it still kind of has that totem-like structure to it. And I think it's pretty cool to just have. And then when you die, it like pops up on your face. It's kind of cool. Then next we have, of course, because this pack was made by me, I had to include the purple bird mascot for my channel. So this is the Ender Pearl. and I chose that just because the ender pearl is kind of this dark cyan, which is the closest thing I could find to like the purple. Next we have the Eye of Ender, which is this orange bird here. And the flint and steel is actually kind of funny. It's the bomb bird. So you can light stuff on fire with bomb bird. Next we have the shield. You can actually see with this shield here that this side is red bird and this side is pig. And it's kind of interesting in that sense that you can hold it that way, and you can have it to where it's like the pig is being protected on your side and the bird is defending on the other side. It's really cool. And then we have the golden apples, which all use this king pig texture. Of course, you can eat them. And then also on this end, let's see if I can find it. Might just search for it. The normal egg is just a white bird. So you can throw a white bird and hatch chicken. Look at that. And I'm sure you see over here, there is a crystal. And because I wanted to try and cater to all of the audience, I know, kind of cool looking, isn't it? Anyway, because I wanted to cater to all audiences, I decided to make the crystal kind of have this pig texture. So when you hit it, it explodes and all that cool stuff. But I'm not going to do that because then it'll break everything over here. But then there's also something that does not have a display, and that's the netherite armor. And I'm sure you probably saw this earlier. But they all have this sleek black texture. And it looks like this. And I think it's really cool because it still keeps the texture of netherite. And it should fit with most people's eyes. Like on my skin, I can still see out. And then also at the top, you can see on this helmet texture here, on the top, there's a little feather fuse on top. I'll see if I can show that to you. You can see on the top of the head, there's a little feather. So now that we have that, what else is there? Well, there's probably a couple other things in this pack that are not being shown here. But things like the enchantment table and bookshelves aren't changed, other than the top has this kind of like AngryBirds wood texture, but none of that's changed. But because I wanted to try and cater a little bit more to Bed Wars, I made the TNT texture from AngryBirds, or as best as I could get it. This glass still has this kind of tint to it to where you can't really see out of it, which is kind of a bad thing, but I think if you're going to use any builds, you probably should just use the stained glass. Dirt is pretty cool because dirt does connect with each other. Albeit not very well, it does connect somewhat, so I'm sure you could give it a pass. It doesn't connect as well, but I mean, I still think this looks good and looks like an AngryBirds background. Cobblestone looked like stone from the game, and also regular stone and mossy stone and bricks all have a texture as well. So stone looks like stone from the game. Mossy stone bricks have this kind of, instead of moss, you know, because there's pigs, I kind of tried to model it a little bit more like pig snot a little bit, but I still think it does look pretty good, and it does connect fairly well with each other if you need to use them. And then stone bricks also use just like regular bricks from the game, and I think they also connect pretty well as well. So now we can get over here and we can go to the wools. So this is all the wool. So when you're playing Bed Wars especially, you'd be able to have, instead of teams of colors, you have teams of birds. So, you know, you have like red, orange, yellow. And then since there's two different greens, this is green wool and this is lime wool. But you may be wondering, what is this color wool? Well, it's actually blue. And I decided to do this just mainly because there's not a whole lot of pigs that are like different colors. So you would just literally have this as the green, and that's about it. That's all you'd have. So because of this, I decided to make the infamous Postman Pig through the blue, which is one of my favorite pigs and something that I have in a collection. And then, of course, you have this light blue here, this cyan as the bluebirds, this light blue as icebird, and purple as me. Then pink wool, you have Stella. I think this is like magenta. Yes, magenta wool, you have Terrence. And then light gray, you have Silver. And then dark gray, you actually have another texture that's like, huh, why is that a pig? Well, it's because of the helmet. The helmet's dark gray, so you can kind of use that as the dark gray wool. So of course this pack is not good for building, but I think this is kind of interesting for like Bed Wars games. Then you have brown here, which is a little bit more light brown than normal, but it's Melody, which is like one of the most recent birds. And then you have the bomb bird here for black wool, of course. So you'd be able to build stuff like this, kind of letting you create your own Angry Birds levels in the game. And of course, if you still need something solid color, like this, for example, you can use concrete, which is unchanged. The final thing that I will show you today is the survival mode. When in survival mode, the hunger bar is not changed, but the hearts are. But there's also something else with combat. So let's just take an iron sword here and get an armor stand. When, oh, I think I have to be in survival mode. When doing a sweeping attack, a red bird will fly past in a slingshot. And when doing a crit, you'll see stars, like from the game. And also, when you have a potion effect applied, so I'll just take this potion of night vision here. You can see there's little red birds that just kind of float. The fire's unchanged, water's unchanged, and lava is unchanged, and so is the bed. So yeah, that is pretty much the entirety of the AngryBirds pack, and I've been using it for a while in combat, and I think it looks pretty good. It works on servers like MCC Island and other 1.20 servers, and I think it can roll back a couple things to like 1.8, but I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's going to work very well. So yeah, I appreciate everybody for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and at the next milestone, I'll release another one. Alright, bye!